this video. Thank you for wanting to spend some time with me. I hope you enjoy your stay. Today is going to be a very exciting video day vlog, a very exciting period because we are going to be continuing the experiment that we've had going on for a couple of months, I think. The first one was come book shopping with me, where I bought the books that you guys recommended. Then we did the book haul of those books, and now finally we're going to be reading the books that you guys sent in. I think I bought like around 10 books, so I'm not going to be reading all 10 books in this vlog. I think I'm going to do like several vlogs, and each one is going to feature like 3 to 4 books so that it's not like 3-hour long vlog. I'm just very excited to be doing this because for so long I've been reading so many average reads that I've chosen myself, like 2-star reads, 3-star reads, and it's like I don't know what I like anymore. So it's going to be exciting to put that control into your hands so that I have someone to blame. I mean, hopefully I won't have to blame anyone because maybe my new favorite book is going to be in this pile. The first order of business is to talk about the books that we're going to be reading for this vlog. I've chosen 3, and this first one I am very excited for because I think I've mentioned it quite a lot, but somebody compared it to a Jungkook reader fanfic, and that, I mean, yes, exactly. Jungkook is one of my biases. I do say one of because girly can't choose. XOXO by Axio. This is the first book that we're going to be reading for this experiment, and I am so very excited. I have heard people compare this to a K-drama, like it gives them those K-drama feels, and I don't know if you know this about me. If you don't, welcome to my channel, but I love K-dramas. I've watched over 100 K-dramas at this point, and I love how I feel when I'm watching K-dramas. I love how different they all are, whether it be a romance or a mystery or a thriller or a comedy. They're all just so beautifully unique and fun to watch, and they make life fun. So when I heard that this book feels like a K-drama, of course my excitement went through the roof because it's like mixing 2 of my favorite worlds into one, K-dramas and books, and BTS because Jungkook. And somebody also compared the main love interest to RM. Like, there we go. You cannot go wrong with that. Hopefully. Okay. I am very excited to start reading XOXO. This is the story of a girl called Jenny, and somehow she meets this K-pop idol and they fall in love, and she doesn't listen to K-pop. She's, I think she plays the cello, so she's more into classical music. So she doesn't really know anything about the K-pop world, but through this man, this boy, and this budding relationship between both of them, she starts learning things about this K-pop world. She starts learning things about herself, and it's like this journey of self-discovery and love and self-love. And yeah, I think that's like a good synopsis, I believe, hopefully. This has 337 pages. It does sound like a lot, but I feel like these types of stories, you can easily read them in one day if you're really into it, which I'm definitely going to be into it. This is the first book that we're going to be starting with. And after XOXO, since I've been watching a lot of Books with Chloe, Jamie, and Kate literature vlogs, I've been like needing or craving romance books. So I asked Jamie for romance recommendations, and one that she recommended was The Bride Test, which a lot of you guys have also recommended Helen Huang to me. I am so excited to read this. I have no idea what it's about. I blindly trusted Jamie, and I blindly trusted you guys. She said it's a good romance. I've heard Helen Huang is like a really good writer of romance, and like, yes. So I'm just excited. I'm excited to read this. This cover is giving me nothing. I don't know what this means. The bride test. What do we get from this? Maybe it's like a group of girls and somebody is testing them to see if they would be a good bride for somebody. That's what I'm getting from the title. There's like a plane involved. Maybe she has to move somewhere. I don't know. I will definitely keep you guys posted, but as I said, I've been craving romance. It's been a long time since I've read like a really good romance, so I'm excited to read this. I'm excited to document my experience and see if it's a good recommendation. So yes, The Bride Test, the second book that we're going to be reading for this experiment. And then the third and final book that I want to read for this vlog, so that it's not, you know, a documentary, is Clara and the Sun. Now, this was also recommended by Jamie. I asked her for a 5-star read, and this is what she recommended. This is one of the very first books that she mentioned. It's a beautiful book. I love the minimal design. I love that it tells us nothing. Like, ask me what this is about, I do not know. And in the back, reviews. You know what I mean? Like, when did this become a thing where reviews are more important than the description of what the book is? Because, like, if you see this in a bookstore, you pick it up, and if you want to know more about it, you can't. You just see other people's opinion of being, like, original and remarkable. Okay, but what is it about? A master craftsman. What does that mean? Remarkable, but why? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't tell us anything, absolutely nothing. I might just put it back in the bookstore because I don't know what it's about. I mean, usually if it's a hardcover, you can just open it and it'll have the description of the book here. But maybe if it's a paperback, you won't have that luxury. And I mean, who cares about reviews if all you want to know is what the book is about? In Clara and the Sun, Kazuo Ishiguro looks at a rapidly changing modern world through the eyes of an unforgettable narrator to explore a fundamental question: what does it mean to love? That sounds insane. That sounds wonderful. That sounds remarkable and original. These are the 3 books that we're going to be reading for this vlog. I am very excited to read these and share my opinions and my thoughts and emotions as I read these books. And I'm excited that you guys want to go along with me. Hopefully it's going to be exciting. Hopefully it's going to be fun, and you'll find new books to read and new books to add to your TBR or to take off your TBR, depending on how this goes. I am, as I mentioned, going to be starting with XOXO. So yeah, I hope you're doing wonderful. I hope you're having a fantastic day whenever you're seeing this. And if you're not, hopefully this vlog will bring a smile to your face. And yes, let's go.
A few moments later.
One thing that I did want to mention is that I'm no longer annotating books right from the beginning, because I've had the misfortune or the bad luck of that I start annotating a book right from the beginning, and then 100 pages in, I realize I don't want to keep this book, or I'm not enjoying this book. You know, it doesn't make me happy to have it in my collection, and I would like to get rid of it, please. But since I've already annotated it, it's going to be really hard to get rid of it. Some places don't accept books that have writings on them if you're going to donate them, or like schools and stuff. So what I'm going to be doing from now on is when I'm reading a new book, I'm going to wait for a while, maybe 50 pages, maybe 70 pages, and see how I feel about it. Because sometimes you get this feeling right from the beginning where you're like, I'm going to love annotating this book. But there are other times where it takes you a little bit to warm up to the book. So I think that if there's something that I really want to annotate, I'm just going to do it on Post-its instead of writing inside of the book. That way, if I don't end up liking it, or if I'd rather give it to somebody else, I can just very easily take it off, and no harm, no foul. So yeah, I just thought I would mention it because I have been getting some questions from people that see my annotated books where they're like, what do you do with books that you don't like? What happens when you're annotating something and you realize that you hate it? So very valid questions I had never thought about because my brain is not developed enough to think that far ahead. But thanks to you, we're changing that. Why does that feel like an ad? It's not. Anyways, back to reading. Let's go. Yes, XOXO by Axie-O. I finished it. I got like this burst of energy where I was like, okay, I'm missing 150 pages. Let's read this. Let's not do anything else except read. And so that's exactly what I did, and I finished it, and I felt absolutely nothing. I started off really happy. I was like happy to be in this world. I was really enjoying all of like the K-drama references, and the whole atmosphere just felt really reminiscent of a K-drama, which I can totally appreciate and love. But this book can't stand on its own. If you take away the K-drama elements and if you take away the things that have nothing to do with the story itself, it's just like very lackluster, and that was so disappointing. You cannot show me a cast of characters more cookie cutter, more stereotypical, more basic than the ones in XOXO. And that sounds so mean, but honestly, it's the truth. I'm so salty. I'm sorry, I'm just salty because I was expecting this to be beautiful. I was expecting like this wonderful love story and self-love as well, like this girl growing into who she's supposed to be and finding what truly makes her happy. She could have done so much. Like, this premise had so much potential and she could have gone so many places with it, but she didn't. She didn't. At one point, I just had to stop thinking of Jungkook as the main character because I was going to end up unbiasing BTS. Like, just BTS as a whole, I was going to stop liking them because Jaewoo, who is the main love interest, he's also in this K-pop band. He has the personality of a cabbage. He is... flavorless, lackluster. He has no spice, no spark, no flame, no interesting thing to mention. As you can see, I am a little bit salty. You noticed? I'm so sorry. I was trying so hard to like hide it, but yes. I don't think I talked about what this was. Okay, so I'm so sorry. Okay. It's this girl, Jenny, and she has to go to South Korea to spend, I think, a semester or like the rest of her school year in South Korea so that she can get like a good scholarship to a music school since she is studying classical music. But in the school she goes to, it's full of idols and like trainees and people that are working towards becoming a K-pop idol. There's this really famous K-pop band that for some reason is still going to school where she's going, so like they start interacting and she somehow meets him in the streets. She doesn't know who he is and she's just like, oh my god, you're cute. And he's like, you don't know who I am? And she's like, should I? So they have like this one night out in the streets just having fun, falling in love, and suddenly they meet back up in South Korea and she's like, oh my god, you're here. Oh my god, you're famous. And so it's like this love story between this girl who knows nothing about K-pop and this K-pop idol, and you know, etc. Like I don't want to keep talking about this book, like I really don't. The designer for this did an amazing job. I will give you credit where credit is due, but as soon as you open the book, crickets. I need time to mourn because I really thought that this was going to be an amazing book. I really thought this was either going to be like a 4.5 star book, and the fact that it's a 2-star,
it's what she deserves.
oh my, I just need to take a little second to say goodbye to my hopes and dreams. I need a second to come to terms with the fact that this is not a Jungkook reader fanfic. There's probably Jungkook reader fanfic better than this. Anyways, why don't we read the very beloved reviews in the back? When it was over, I immediately wanted to read it for the first time again. No. Simply put, this book made me happy. I guess you could say I'm just a big fan. How is that a review? How does that doesn't, what, it, why did it make you happy? Why are you a big fan? Give us something. Like you're just, okay. A handwritten letter to falling in love and opening yourself up to the world. A delicious treat.
Lies, lies, and more lies, and lies on top of lies.
I just don't see it. A feel-good, page-turning, swoony read. This is not swoony at all. Okay, I've read swoony. This is not swoony at all. Literally, the first time that they kiss, spoiler alert, they kiss, obviously, like they're about to kiss in the cover. It was so boring. I felt absolutely nothing. There was no adrenaline rush. There was no moment in time where I was like, oh my god, what's going to happen next? I was just existing. I was just reading this. I was along for the ride, but was I having fun? I think we both know the answer to that question. So yeah, gonna go cry myself to sleep for a little bit, and I will talk to you guys later. Yes, goodbye. Goodbye to my dreams, to my hopes, to my expectations. Goodbye to everything.
Day 2.
After the fiasco that XOXO was, I'm really hoping that the bride test is going to redeem my trust in romance books and like just romance in general, because XOXO made me want to barf. XOXO made me want to no longer exist. So I'm really hoping that the bride test changes that. I hope the bride test gives me romance. I hope it gives me butterflies. I hope it gives me everything that XOXO should have, but didn't and couldn't. So I am very excited to start the bride test. I still have no idea what it's about, but I am excited to dig in. This has a total of 296 pages, which is totally doable. I read XOXO in a day, mostly, basically, so I can definitely read this in a day. Not that I'm trying to read these books in a day, it's just the way that they're panning out. Like, even though I didn't like XOXO, it is extremely easy to get through and to fly through. So I'm kind of feeling like The Bride Test is going to be just like that. I'm excited to see for myself what all the buzz is about of Helen Huang. And if I end up liking The Bride Test, maybe I'll even look for The Kiss Quotient and The Heart Principle, which I think is her latest book. And yes, excited. Let's see how I feel about this. Hopefully I'll fall in love with the characters. Hopefully it'll be a lot funner than XOXO. And maybe this will reignite my love for romance. And through this book, I can start a whole new journey of reading romance books. And I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's do the first thing. Let's read the first page and let's just see where it takes us. Let's go. I've been reading for the past couple of hours, and honestly, yes, exactly. This is what I was looking for. This is what I was expecting. I came into this book not knowing anything, but having like, you know, adequate expectations. I was looking for a cute romance, but also one that had substance. It wasn't just like insta love, and it wasn't these cookie cutter trope filling characters. It was more like, this is a person, this is a character with development, and this is their partner, and this is how they're going to end up together. And that is what we're getting. Okay, this is the story of Kai and Esme. Esme comes from Vietnam, and she's working all of these odd jobs just to get some money for her and her daughter and her family. She's basically the breadwinner of her family. She's a single mom, and she's working her ass off to provide for her and for her mom and for her grandmother. And then suddenly one day this grandmother approaches her and she's like, do you want to try and marry my son or my grandson? And she's like, excuse me, what?
Excuse me,
I need to marry my grandson off, and you are perfect. I want you to be his bride. You don't know him, he doesn't know you, but you're gonna get married. Obviously, at first she's like, what are you talking about? Leave me alone. But then she talks about it with her mother, and the mom is like, nobody gets this opportunity to go to America and build a life there and to take your daughter and have like a proper future for her. So she's like, you know what, fine, let's try this. Let's try and seduce this man that I know nothing about. Let's see if I can get my daughter a better future. So she goes there and we meet Kai, this closed off, emotionally unavailable type of man. And he is, yes, yes, Kai is a man. Kai is a man. Of course, he's not on board with this idea of having this random woman living with him, and the fact that he's supposed to go through like this trial period and see if they're going to end up getting married. He's like, my heart is closed off to anything and everyone. I don't love anything. So it's a lot of like grumpy, don't touch me, don't come close to me. While Esme is like the total different side of the coin. She's like super bubbly. She's very positive. She's very, very hardworking. And even though she's like trying to seduce this man, it sounds a bit weird when I say seduce, but honestly, she's just being herself and she just wants to see if this can actually be a relationship. Like, she's of course not forcing herself on him, and he does have his limits and she does respect them. They're honestly just very respectful of each other, but at the same time, the tension that they have and the way that you see the blocks piling up on top of each other, you see where the story is going, you see what's about to happen, and you're like, yes, give me more. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm having so much fun reading this book. I love the banter between them. I love the development, the relationship between them. It's so fun to see how it's developing, but also the character development of Esme and Kai. When they're together, when they're apart, they have their own dreams, they have their own setbacks and their own faults. It's so beautiful. I love it so much. I can definitely see myself finishing this today. It's just that type of book that you don't want to put down. I have literally not been able to do anything else except read because this story is just reeling me in. It's not letting me go. And I don't want to let go. It's super fun. It's exciting to see that we're going to have like an actual good book in this vlog. So I'm going to go back to reading and I will catch up with you guys later. Bye. I am disgusted by how good this book is. Like, how dare you be this good? How dare I not read this sooner? Like, oh my god. This book, oh my god. Yes, yes, yes. Exactly what the doctor prescribed. Dedicated to me. You go, girl. I'm gonna cry. That was actually stunning. Oh my god. Yes. 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 Your girlie is not doing great. Like physically speaking, mentally, it's a freaking party. But physically, I am going through it. That doesn't mean that I'm giving up on this little thing that we've got going on. I finished The Bright Test by Helen Huang, and it's a very solid 4-star read. I loved it. I had so much fun reading this, and I just loved, I loved it. I loved the characters. I love Esme especially because she's such a hardworking lady and she gets hit by constant setbacks and like life keeps throwing these curveballs at her, but she keeps on fighting. And I love that type of character that you can learn something from. I know that when I was first talking about it, like the premise of having to seduce this man and like sort of an arranged marriage, it doesn't sound romantic. It doesn't sound great. The premise does sound a little bit weird, but I swear it's so fun. And the way that it was developed, it's not non-consensual in any way. So don't worry about that. Like, it is supposed to be arranged, but they also have a choice in this. Like, they're not truly being forced to do this. Like, if they want to, they can say no, so it's okay. Don't worry. I also really love Kai, and I was reading some reviews and I heard that it's an own voices book because our author, Helen Huang, she is Vietnamese and she's also autistic, and our main female lead is from Vietnam, and then our male lead is autistic. And I don't think I've ever read a book that features an autistic main character, so I found that very interesting to see. It's so beautiful to see more representation popping up as the years go by, because you know, this shouldn't be so much of a novelty. Like, we should be used to seeing characters like this in the main stage, but you know, I guess better late than never. I have never encountered a character like that in a book, and it was so interesting to read about. I love this. It gave me so much needed serotonin. It made me so happy. I think I love romance again, finally. Now that I've finished the Bright Test, the only book left for this vlog is Clara and the Sun by Kazuo Ishiguro. I started like the first few pages and I realized that this is divided into parts. Like instead of chapter 1, chapter 2, this has 6 parts. So this takes long chapters to a whole other level.
No ma'am. No ma'am. No ma'am. No ma'am.
All I know from what we read on the inside of the book is that this deals with artificial characters, like artificial friends, so like robots. And it's also an exploration of how society has been developing and what it truly means to love, which is going to be interesting since we're reading from an artificial intelligence's point of view. Artificial intelligences? What is the plural of artificial intelligence? We're going to be reading from the point of view of an artificial intelligence. So the fact that we're going to be learning about love through a computer, I think is going to be very interesting. And yes, I am excited, but also I'm like scared because this is supposed to be Jamie's recommendation for a 5-star. Since I'm not feeling 100%, I don't know how much reading I'm going to be doing today, but since I only have the strength to sit on my desk or be on my bed, I think I might as well just read, like there's nothing else to do except maybe cry and feel bad about myself. But we're not going to be doing that. Let's start this today. Let's see how I feel. Let's go. So I have officially finished reading the first 3 books in Reading My Subscribers Recommendations. First, we had XOXO by Axio, which was 2 stars. Then we had The Bright Test by Helen Huang, and this was a very beautiful 4 stars. And then finally, the book that I finished this morning was Clara and the Sun, written by Kazuo Ishiguro. I'm gonna give you 5 seconds to guess. Like, take out a little paper, write down what you think I rated this book. If you follow me on Goodreads, you probably already saw it, but 2 stars. Yay! Two 2 stars in this vlog and only 1 4-star.
Anyway.
No 5-star, but I wasn't really expecting a 5-star at this point in my life this year. I've had like a handful of truly 5-star books, so... Okay, listen, this is a very interesting book because objectively I can see, like, I do accept that this is a really good book objectively. The premise was interesting. The execution, I think that's where it lost me. I think that this concept and this idea had a lot of potential. The way that the story could have been developed, I think I would have really liked it and I would have really enjoyed it. But as it stands, I just found myself very detached from the whole experience. So this story does follow Clara, and she is an artificial intelligence type of robot, but in this world they're called artificial friends, and they are bought by humans so they can be sort of companions for their children. So Clara is chosen by this family that has this daughter called Josie, and Josie's sick, and we don't really know why. There's actually a lot of mystery surrounding this book because Ishiguro doesn't really explain what's going on in this world. He sort of just like drops us into this new reality. He just basically says, you figure it out for yourselves. Maybe I don't even know what's going on, but something weird is going on. You're like constantly questioning everything because they keep using these terms of like lifted children, and you're like, what does lifted mean? But basically lifted kids have more privileges than unlifted kids. So we have, but then it's confusing. It's, why are we doing this? How did we get to this point? Why did we get to this point? What is the meaning of this? Like, none of these questions are ever explored, or they're never explained or answered, and it's very convoluting. I just felt dissatisfied with the story. I don't know what I was expecting, but from what we read of exploring the fundamental question, what does it mean to love? I don't think that this book did that. If you've read Clara and the Sun, I would love to discuss this book with you because I feel like it tried to do something, and it tried to have these conversations and these discussions of love and humanity and what's inside of each of us and what makes all of us unique. But I don't know if it got there. I feel like it touched its surface. I feel like it posed some questions that a lot of people have been asking for a lot of years now, but did it really explore that question? And why? Like, why did you do it like this? I don't know. This is a 2-star, not because I didn't enjoy it, but because I've read 3-star books that are better than this. So I don't feel like this is deserving of a 3-star in my rating system, which at this point I have no idea what my rating system is. Like, it just feels like a 3-star. Okay, 3 stars. Like, there's no objective set of components that you have to check in order to become a 3-star or a 4-star in my book. It's just a feeling that I get. And this one did not give me 3-star vibes. The more that it went on and the more that I felt the story grow stagnant, and I just didn't see where it was going. And then the ending came and it was so lackluster and it made me feel nothing. So I was like, oh, all right. Okay. I mean, sure. Okay. It's not it's not the best start to this experiment, but even though they ended up being 2 stars, I still had so much fun documenting this experience, and I love sharing this journey with you guys. So yes, let me know what you thought in the comments below. Have you read any of these books? Are you adding any of these to your TBR? Like, let's talk, let's discuss. My favorite part of uploading videos is talking to you guys. So I would really appreciate it if you could leave a comment or just like, hey girly, you're doing amazing. And yes, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you're having a fantastic day whenever you're seeing this, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.
Hey Jimmy, you nice. Keep going.